Hello, hello. It is raining. By that, I don't mean it's raining money. That's a really cheap, shallow, superficial joke. And you know me well enough to know that I don't make those. It's actually raining in Mumbai, which means that the apocalypse is near. And me, like you, like all of us, whenever I feel the apocalypse is here and that the world is ending, I look towards cricket. Cricket gives me joy. And Harsha gives me joy. Joy gives me Harsha. They are here with me today. I'm Gaurav Kapur. We are talking about the retentions in the IPL. We all three are in Mumbai, so it is raining outside. I'm jacketed up because I am the oldest of the lot. These two young people.
It's funny. I was cold this morning, and I thought I'm going to share the mic with a Dilliwala, a stage with a Dilliwala, and a now current Dilliwala. And they'll probably laugh at me saying, have you got your monkey cap on? Have you got all your other stuff on? Yeah.
By the way,
it's cold.
By the way, sir, you can't say monkey cap because that's a bit of racial profiling of our professor here.
No, wait a minute. The actual name for it is balaclava. That's the name. You call it a monkey cap, that's a wrong name. It's a balaclava, named after a battle in the Crimean War. And that's what you call it to all respectable Bengalis. That's what you do.
That's right. That's right. And you use those to rob banks. And I tell you, there's no monkeys robbing banks, yeah? There's no monkeys robbing banks. Well, I tell you, some people have gone ka-ching. Yeah, some players have gone and broken the bank. And some will be breaking the bank in the auction because they haven't been retained by any team. Today, we're going to be talking about the 8 teams and the retentions they made. And the 2 new teams and the possibilities that have opened up for them in terms of the 3 picks that they get from the pool of unretained players. Is that a term? No, it isn't. All right. Let's tell you the rules of the retention first. Each of the 8 teams could retain up till 4 players, right? That was the first thing. 30th was their deadline. So yesterday was their deadline. So today we're here to discuss that with you. 4 players. You can have, there's 2 combinations. You can have 3 Indians and 1 foreigner or 2 Indians and 2 foreigners if you're retaining 4. Total purse is 90 crores. That's up from 85 last year. You give a 10% pay hike to people. This is a little less than that. So fair enough. If you retain 4, that's 42 down from your purse. So you have 48 to go shopping in the auction for the remainder of your squad. For 3 players, you lose 33. For 2, 24 crores is knocked off from your purse. And if you retain just 1 player, 14 crores is reduced from your purse. And you will see there is various numbers that have been retained by various teams. So we'll have a look at those. These are standard value deductions. Players' actual salaries may differ, which means that player 1, if you're only retaining 1, 14 crores could go from your purse. But you could have done a deal with the player and you're perhaps paying only 10. That doesn't matter. Still 14 is taken as the notional salary and deducted from your purse. Maximum of 2 uncapped players can be retained for a price of 4 crores. So these are the basic retention rules. Up till 4, and the reason why this is being done, a big auction, and the big auctions are always kind of painful because the teams build up over a period of time in terms of players, in terms of fan base, identification, and then it just becomes a whole jumble in this big auction. But they had to do it because there's 2 new teams that have come. There's Lucknow, there's Ahmedabad. If everybody just kept all the big players, the new teams would say, well, hang on, we have nothing to choose from. So they're trying to make this fair. The first question I'd ask Harsha is, do you think that this would be the last big auction? Because it does seem unfair that players are groomed by teams and then they're kind of prepped and sent over to somebody else.
I was hoping the last one was the last.
Yeah.
So that wasn't the last. So I'm hoping this one is. See, but the moment you added 2 new teams, you had to have an auction because where will the other teams get their players from? So if they're going to make it a 12-team IPL in future, then you'll need another auction. But just a quick one on those rules. The standard deduction is if it is for that figure or lower, you could pay higher, in which case the higher of the 2 numbers will get deducted.
Yeah.
And I just looked at the uncapped player 4 crores and I thought, how life has changed for uncapped players from when the IPL started.
Yeah.
When the IPL started, it was 10.
10, right? 10. Sorry, it was 10.
It was 10 when it started. Yeah. So 10 to 4, that's 40 times in 13 years. And that's nice, no? That uncapped players, not quite there, but they're still earning a decent amount of money. And that's why, I know those questions are going to come at the end. My happiest purchase is, sorry, I'm jumping the gun. Sorry.
Okay. But
I'm very happy, but I want to share it, but I'll wait.
But that's fine. I mean, the thing is that a 40x from the what you earned in the first IPL to what you're earning in the 14th IPL is still less than Joy's jump from what he earned in the first IPL to what he's getting now. It's
I wish it
55x,
was so.
isn't it?
Only my age has jumped that much. Well, what I want to say is that
40 times. Well done, Joy.
This math, metaphysics math
That is a polyclava. That is a polyclava.
No, but actually, I was just thinking. Forget about even 2008. In 2011, when you went and bought the domestic players, you could negotiate for them for 20 lakhs outside the auction, 10 and 20 lakhs.
Yeah.
So this is not even 2008, 2011, just 10 years it's happened. And what has happened, sadly, is that when I look at this particular auction, it reminds me of those wonderful magazines I used to read when I was going to the barbershop, because you can't pretend to read them otherwise.
Hey. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, those are the ones I would read. I don't know what your barbershop.
Well, the way your sentence started, Joy.
But what I was saying was, this retention and all is all about relationship advice. Who's broken up with whom? Who wants to be captain? Who wants to be the most favored player? Who wants to be under? Who's feeling underappreciated? Who wants to be more appreciated? This entire thing is relationship advice.
Yeah,
and Gaurav, you need to give good advice on this.
Great point. Parth Jindal had this quote, as you know, JSW, and they own half the Delhi team, the other being GMR. It's heartbreaking to lose players like Shreyas, Shikhar, Rabada, and Ashwin. The auction process is like this. It is not fair that you build a team, give youngsters a chance, groom them, and they get opportunities for the franchises and play for their country. And then you lose them after 3 years. IPL needs to have a relook.
I just want to say absolutely. And I just want to say out there that the one person who would be delighted with this quote is Ashwin, that they called him a youngster who's been groomed. I'd be a bit surprised that you groom her.
You know why Parth is doing that? Ashwin is Parth's doppelganger.
Exactly. That's what I was saying.
Oh, yeah, I didn't realize. Okay.
I was complete. When they did the transfer, I cracked this joke. I said the reason why Ashwin has come to Delhi so that Parth can dress up like him and take the field one day. Right? Just get under the helmet and go. It's striking, the resemblance. But yes, it's right. And let's just start with the Delhi team, right? Because spoiled for choice. There were a few teams that were spoiled for choice. Mumbai, Delhi was spoiled for choice. Let's have a look at the 4 retentions that they've had. They made it very clear that in the captaincy kind of scales, was it going to be Rishabh or Shreyas? I think they answered it when the second installment carried on with Rishabh as captain, though Shreyas came back. The incumbent was not given that chair. It was very clear then that Shreyas is probably not going to be retained. So Rishabh's their number 1 retention at 16. Then is Bapu, Akshar Patel with 9, Prithvi Shaw, and Andrik Nokia. All right, so their purse left is, of course, 47.5, which they go shopping for. Very interesting. I think, Joy, that's pretty much sealed, right? It was going to be Rishabh and not Shreyas, and you can't keep 2. Ek bayan mein 2 talware nahi reh sakti.
Yeah, look, I think the way it happened, I think, to be honest with you, I think they played it right. Because if you've got a captain for a season, you can't turn around and say this, just because the season has now ended halfway through and it's been delayed for 5 months and the player is fit again, I'll bring back the old captain. Because you promised Rishabh that you'll give him a season to captain. So you had to go through with it. At which point...
But you promised him... I'm sorry, just to interject 1 second. Because they obviously made a promise for more than 1 season. Because otherwise Shreyas would have been retained. They made a longer promise to him. And I'm saying that the second installment is reflective of that.
I think my sense of this, and I could be wrong, and I'm sure all of us have our own views on this, is that once he was retained as captain, I think Shreyas felt he wanted to go somewhere else in captain. Because he felt that once I'm fit and back again, if I'm not given the captaincy. So my sense is that they would have tried very hard to retain Shreyas, because Indian talent of that quality not to want to retain is not happening. It's just that he would have probably said, I have a great chance of being a captain with one of these 2 new teams, or with somebody like a KKR, for example. I mean,
there's 5 teams looking for captains, the 2 new and 3, and we'll get to that. But Harsha, your point of view on this?
I think and I said so earlier, the moment they decided that in spite of Shreyas coming back from injury, that Rishabh Pant would be captain, they knew that Shreyas was only fulfilling on his remaining contract. He was fulfilling his, what do you call it when you're about to leave a company?
Notice period.
Notice period. He was just fulfilling his notice period, and that he was gone anyway, because I don't think they were completely fair. They pitched one ambition versus another. Shreyas Iyer wanted to be captain, and he'd done a good job as captain. Rishabh Pant wanted to be captain. So it's like there's only going to be one MD. So when two guys are in contention for the top job, one is going to leave anyway. So the moment they made Rishabh Pant the captain, they knew that Shreyas Iyer was gone.
Okay, Nokia over Rabada is a very interesting call as well, because you would have thought, okay, let's say, to be fair, till the end of the first installment, if I told you to pick between Rabada and Nokia, you would pick Rabada. Has Nokia got rewarded for just a fantastic UAE second half season, John?
Correct.
Oh, sorry,
Nokia,
Harsha.
Nokia has been a fantastic bowler. And if you realize Rabada's economy rates have plummeted a little bit, or rather, he's become more expensive as he's gone along. He's no longer the great death bowler. Maybe he's just out of form. He's not a bad bowler. He's just gone through a period out of form, whereas Nokia is giving you across three stages of the game. But he hasn't done that in India. So it was Nokia versus Rabada, Nokia, Rabada. I think extra pace, you went with Nokia. But when the IPL was in India, you didn't play him.
True.
When the IPL was in India, you played Rabada. Nokia didn't play a game. I think he's only played one game, I think, for Delhi Capitals in India.
Yeah.
Something like that. So I don't think he's played in India.
Yep. There is, Joy, the other point, of course, being, Shikhar Dhawan, right? Is it just the case of picking the young horse over the old war horse because he was their highest scorer the previous season? Obviously, there'll be people who'll want him in the auction. I guess they're just looking at the 3-year window. Unfair on a talent like Shikhar, but it's just the way of the world, isn't it?
Yeah, again, I really feel for him. And if you look at it, Delhi and Mumbai would be the hardest done in this auction. But for me, even under those circumstances, if you look down at that lineup, I'd still try and find a way to retain Shikhar because, Prithvi is a great talent. But Shikhar, if it's just a 3-year window you're looking at, Shikhar has scored more runs than almost anyone in this format. I mean, other than KL Rahul, he's just given you runs and runs and runs. So not having Shikhar back, and he again bats at the top of the order, good player of spin. What does Prithvi do? Prithvi gives them winning starts. So you say Prithvi might win 3 matches for you. But Shikhar will give you 6-7 consistent games. So it's a big call. And from whatever I understand, again, it was a coach's call. And I think what they've done is just gone with the coach and said, okay, if your call over, it's 19 of one and half a dozen of the 12 of one, half a dozen of the other. Let's just pick one of the guys. And coach went with Shikhar.
You also who's replaceable. So suppose at the end of this IPL, Shikhar retired or something happened to Shikhar. He lost form. You could, and if you let go Shikhar, would you get a replacement for Shikhar? Tough. Whereas if you let go Prithvi, you're unlikely to let go Prithvi. Prithvi is likely to stay with you for 3 years more than Shikhar is likely to stay with you for 3 years. And so I think they've looked at a 3-year perspective. They've also looked at the fact that if he starts to do well, they've got him for 3 years. Because remember, once you sign this contract, hereafter only the franchise can release you. You cannot quit. Yeah. You can only quit at the end of each contract period.
Yep.
So effectively, the people they've retained now for 3 years. So you can understand why they've gone with a younger guy. If someone's giving you 100 runs less, but he's going to give it to you over 3 years, yes. Except that I think Prithvi is a little more temperamental. They've backed his natural ability, and they will. I think Shikhar will get a good price in the auction. I won't be surprised if Delhi go and buy Shikhar again in the auction. I'll be surprised if they don't.
Yeah, let's have a look at Mumbai because stop the press. There's no Hardik Pandya there, right? But are you stopping the press? Was this expected? Was it not? You can't fault one of those 4 retentions, right? You couldn't fault it if there was Rohit Sharma and 3 other players here. It's an abundance of riches. And they've gone with, you'd say, the most logical, Rohit Sharma, their captain, obviously. I mean, really, just close your eyes and write that name. Then Jasprit Bumrah do the same. Surya, who's been in blazing form, and Pollard, who's almost like been one of their what is the word, Joy? Talisman. Tailorman. Talisman. He's been their compulsory blind. Delhi. The compulsory blind.
मेरे को समझ नहीं आया, but you two Delhi fellows understand that's okay for me.
But 12 years he's played for them. 12 years. He plays another 3 years. He would have played 15 years for them.
He would have played 15 years for them. The thing is, Pollard's only 33, by the way. Yeah? It's only 32 or 33. And this is not. This is not Punjab age. This is not like add 3 years.
I'm not so sure about that.
No, really? You think it's more? 34, they say.
ब्रेकिंग न्यूज आज क्रिकबज़ के कार्यक्रम में जॉय भट्टाचार्य ने कहा कि बचपन में बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट चुरा लिया गया था कैरन पोलार्ड का.
They won't even paraphrase you. They'll just copy this clip straight out. I mean, for great choices. Yeah,
no, wasn't as easy.
Please, yeah.
I think 1 to 4 were decided very early. It was the third choice that they would have deliberated for a very, very long time. Look, Hardik Pandya offers you a combination that is rare in the cricket world, let alone in India. Across the cricket world, it's a rare combination. In India, it's a virtually non-existent combination. A seam bowler who wins you matches batting in the top 6. The problem for them was, is he a seam bowler now or is he merely a top 6 batsman? And the fact that he hasn't bowled for them for 2 years virtually, and last year his batting skills plummeted, I think they've got to ask themselves, is he good enough to be a top 5, top 6 batsman for us day in, day out, whether or not he bowls a single ball? Now, I think in 2020, a lot of people think that MI 2020 was the best T20 team ever assembled. Across leagues, across whatever.
Across the world,
yeah. Look what he's done there. Strike rate 179. He was winning matches. Him and Pollard were hitting sixes for fun.
Yeah.
But now, is he a pure batsman or is he still the all-rounder? Then look at Ishan Kishan. The combination that Ishan Kishan was offering you was mouth-watering. You had an aggressive left-hand top-order batsman who was keeping wickets.
Yeah.
So I think they would have burned the midnight oil over Ishan Kishan and Surya Kumar Yadav.
But could I mean, my theory is that there's just so many wicketkeeper batters now, Joy. There's so many in India. And look how many in the world. And overseas, New Zealand, I think the entire team is wicketkeeper batters.
Batsmen, yeah.
They got like 5 of them there. You've got England, which is full of them. So maybe they're thinking that Ishan Kishan, we could still find kind of replacements for, but Surya, the kind of form that we have, it's also a lot of that more than the numbers, right, Joy?
That's one. 2 is that they have this belief that these 2 players control innings. So Surya also controls the innings for them. That is, they believe that if Rohit gets out early, he's the one who knows when to play it out, when to sort of farm the strike, when to go all out. So they look for somebody at 2, I'm batting at 4, who can control the game. And I think that was their best option. Again, the only other thing you would say, Pollard versus Quinton de Kock, and you would have turned around and said exactly the argument you gave 5 minutes back. Wicketkeeper batsmen around the world and say, you know what, we can find others, but perhaps we can't find another Pollard. And that's, I think, the only logic that would come onto that.
I actually think number 4 is the toughest position to find.
Yeah.
Free-flowing opening batsmen you get, finishers you might get, but a number 4 has to come in at 10 for 2 or 5 for 2 and take your innings deep, or number 4 has got to come in at 140 for 2 with 3 overs left and take you to 180, 185. So number 4s are really tough. I think you can count on your fingertips the number of number 4s available. Top of my head, I can think Shreyas Iyer, Surya Kumar Yadav, Aiden Markram. I'm thinking of players like those. Aiden Markram only in the last 6 months. Hetmeyer, Nicholas Pooran, come and go. But it's a rare commodity. So I think they've retained a number 4. And I think as they've got a 1-4-6 kind of combination, or 1-3-5, 1-4-6 kind of combination, they'll be in the hunt for bowlers.
Yeah, true. Surya's been in that kind of rip-roaring form. And also what comes into play, and Joy, you'll know this, you've been part of retentions. What comes into play also is who the captain likes. I mean, the captain's got a gel with. It's a collaborative effort. It's a team effort. You know that Rohit's a big fan of Surya. I'm not saying he's not a fan of Hardik or Ishan, but he's been a big fan, a big supporter, a big believer in Surya. So I'm sure that gets a vote as well, right?
Definitely. Look, if it is a close decision, it's finally they're going to turn out captain, coach are the 2 people. In Mumbai's case, it's more than that. It's captain, coach, somebody like Zahir, who's been with the system a long time. And see, the other thing they would have discussed with Zahir is how bad is Hardik's back? Because that's one of the things they'd look at and they'd say, is his back the kind of back? And I remember this very interestingly, that everyone used to talk about Bumrah's action being strange or difficult, and maybe he'd have problems with it. And the one thing Zahir always said, that Bumrah's action, for whatever it's worth, and I remember this Cricbuzz studio telling us that Bumrah's action actually is not that bad on his back. And he said Hardik probably has more of a problem because of the way he delivers the ball. And those are the kind of inputs they would have looked at and said that maybe Hardik's return to bowling form may be something that, they don't want to bet on right now. I'm sure that they'll still bid for him. I'm sure they're going to make a serious bid for him.
If he's still in the auction.
True, could be taken. Remember, 3 players each from either of the teams, so that's a risk that you take as well. You're absolutely right, Joy. I've had an entire bowler biomechanics effect on back kind of demonstration here from Yuvraj Singh in this very room with Bumrah's action and Hardik's action, and how Hardik's back takes a lot more stress. But Jasprit Bumrah basically has a more open-chested action, so lesser on his back, whereas Hardik has this almost slingshot action where he turns, and that's what. So, well, I don't know. Is he going to bowl again or not? Don't know. And obviously, that is a thing that the teams will need to know before they get him on. But for sure, either Ahmedabad or Lucknow will definitely scoop up Hardik Pandya.
You didn't need to use the word or, I suspect you didn't need to use the word or.
Hyderabad, I'm saying. Ahmedabad? Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah. What you hearing? What your little birdie's telling you? What your little birdie's telling you? Well, we'll discuss that as well. Yeah, we'll discuss that as well a little later. Chennai was very interesting because the captain said it is Dhoni's team. I don't need to tell you it's Dhoni's team. It's like telling you that the sky is blue. Wait, hang on, the sky is not blue in India, but anywhere else.
It was grey. It's now black outside.
Let's think of England and New Zealand, places that don't have pollution. The sky is blue there, and Dhoni's team, he decided to be retained as the number 2 player, right? Said Jadeja deserves to be number 1. Picked up Moeen Ali and Rituraj Gaikwad. Let's just talk about this as Dhoni being retained as number 2.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very good, very intelligent reason why I thought Dhoni will be the 4th retention. I honestly thought. Because it's just like Dhoni to say, don't spend too much money on me. Right? I've been around for a long time. If there's deserving candidates, give them more. Would Jadeja have got 16 crores in an auction? Never. Not he himself wouldn't have paid 16 crores. So good on him. Let him have a nice party. He's a very good player and they reward loyalty. Why is Dhoni 12 crores? I find this fascinating. And the only reason I can think of is he's only going to play 1 year.
Yeah.
And if he plays only 1 year and he goes, 12 crore gets released for them to buy another player.
Yeah.
Whereas if he's a 4th player, only 6 crores gets released for them to buy another player.
Yeah.
So while he goes, he releases a lot of money. They can buy another big player from somewhere because the purse available will become bigger. To me, that seems the reason. Because I mean, I don't see Dhoni saying, "Mere ko itna chahiye nahi to main ja raha hu." No.
He's not leaving this team. That's very clear that he's not leaving this team. He may retire from actively. Yeah, 99 years. He may stop actively playing, but he'll still run the team. And if you see that list again, there's interesting that Moeen Ali is number 3. What was he? He was picked at 9 crores last year, right? That's why they picked him up in the auction. So this is 8 here. He wouldn't mind at all. He's one of those chill dudes who's very happy that Chennai's really relied on him a lot, and he's been happy and he's delivered. So it's a good relationship, and if it's a good working relationship, you don't mind getting paid a little less money, like the 3 of us do here with Cricbuzz. But moving on, Rituraj Gaikwad is 4. So first, let's discuss Moeen. Are you? I'm not surprised at all. You get a bowler, off spinner, big hitter, top 3, gentle, chill guy, willing to take any role. It's got to be him, right? Left-hander as well. Yeah. He's also is he Dhoni's in a way Suresh Raina 2.0 for the next 3 years?
I don't know for next 3, but at least 2 years. Yeah, he actually played Raina's role. If you notice, getting runs in the middle overs against spin.
Yeah, true. Big and Joy, for you
No,
because
I-
will it be Sam Curran? Will it be Faf? I mean, he was definitely more than a length ahead of those two, right? To be retained.
Look, I think that's the exact thing. I think Sam Curran in they 2 things that we are assuming, and I think they are fair assumptions to make. One is they think that the next couple of IPLs will be held in India. Even if they have to make the bubble more stringent, they'll probably hold it in India. So if that's the case, they'd want somebody as a spinner. So Sam Curran perhaps loses out there. Faf, it's a simple thing. Look, I think Dhoni is a smart enough player to say that I'm not going to contribute in every match anymore. I'm not the kind of player that I'm the finisher at 6 that I could contribute. But I'm literally like Krishna. I'm the guy who's going to control this team. And the more all-rounders he had, he's got 2 solid all-rounders already now in Jadeja and Moeen. So he's got 2 guys anyway who can bat and bowl, which means his options automatically have started increasing. And I think whenever Dhoni has a chance to say, am I going to go with the batsman or am I going to go with the bowler or am I going to go with an all-rounder who just gives me that little bit more to play with? He always picks the all-rounder. So I think that's where he would win out. Sam Curran versus Moin. Moin is batting far much ahead, better player of spin, and is a spinner, which if they play a whole lot of home matches in Chennai will count for a lot.
Exactly. That was the thing. Play Chennai, Moin Ali becomes a bowler. If you look at those numbers again, you'll see how little Moin has bowled for Chennai.
Yeah.
Moin is a batsman who gives a bowling option. 15 matches, he's only taken 6 wickets. Economy is still very good. Economy is far better than Sam Curran. Whereas Curran in 23 games has taken 22 wickets. He's not bowled that much because he's in the side as a batsman who can bowl a little bit. But now you've got 2 batting all-rounders. I still think Jadeja at this level is a batting all-rounder. So Jadeja will bat in the top 6. Dhoni, I don't know where, but in the top 6, you've got 2 batsmen, both left-handed, who are also giving you 2 different kinds of turn. And I have no doubt in my mind they're going to buy back Faf. Look, Faf goes into the auction. How many people are breaking the bank for Faf? He's 37 years old. He's a brilliant fielder, but people are not fighting with each other to go 9-10 crores over Faf.
Yeah.
So it's a very safe, fairly safe bet to say we will buy him back.
Interesting.
So I think that is the thinking they've done.
Let's go to Kolkata because they've made what I call, these 3 teams we've discussed have made, retentions that you could pretty much expect. These ones are quite interesting. The ones that we're going into, starting with Kolkata, of course. They've gone Andre Russell first, then Varun Chakravarti, Venkatesh Iyer, and Sunil Narayan. I have to say, I saw this and I saw the prices, and for me, I don't know if it made complete sense. Harsha?
Did you come to me first because you thought Joy would be...
Yeah, I just want Joy to just catch his breath for a second. And I know that once we hand it to Joy, we can just go and take a nap.
I was about to get up and go.
Put the kettle on. Yeah.
Now put the numbers on again. First of all, they don't add up. They've paid people less than what they could have. They've saved a little bit of money there. With each of them, in fact, except with Venkatesh Iyer. Here's something very interesting. There's a trend that is emerging here. Moin Ali versus Faf. Why have you gone Moin Ali? Venkatesh Iyer versus Shubman Gill. Why have you gone Venkatesh Iyer? For 2 reasons. Who's the more aggressive batsman? Who's giving you the second option? Because at the start of IPL 21, Brendan McCullum is saying that I see Shubman Gill being with this franchise for a long time, being the next captain. Shubman Gill is rare. Wow, he's everything that you ever wanted. No, hang on. There's this kid from Indore who's come who I think is better. Because at that slot, once again, is a Venkatesh Iyer replaceable? Is a Shubman Gill replaceable? Am I looking for a free scoring opening batsman? Yeah, I think there's a few around.
Yeah.
Am I looking for an open batsman in the top 6 who gives me 2 overs most games? Hang on. I can't see him anywhere. So they're saying Venkatesh Iyer is giving me a better strike rate than Shubman Gill, and Venkatesh Iyer is giving me 2 overs. So look at how it goes. Shubman Gill is a blue-eyed boy for the last 4 years. Venkatesh Iyer is thinking, should I join Deloitte or no? And suddenly he's retained, and and Shubman isn't. It's the beauty of T20.
Yeah, it's amazing how it turns. And Sunil Narayan, of course, listen, Sunil Narayan, talking about blue-eyed boys, Sunil Narayan is a purple-eyed boy because he's been retained every time, right, Joy? He's always been retained. He's been retained here as well. It's the other 2 because they're great players, right? Both Andre Russell and Varun Chakravarti are great players, but not sure starters because of injury concerns, right? Is what they've shown us.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. And what we've discussed, age has some factor to do with it, but age is not the only factor. I mean, Andre Russell is, again, comparatively young. He's 33, 34 years old. He's not that old.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, and this is again coming from, fast bowlers who work on it, the kind of muscle mass that he carries, for the kind of frame he has, it always opens him up to injury. So I was just looking at his stats for his playing for his country and his basically for KKR. And he plays about 75% of the games. There's no, after 2018, I don't think it's a season where he's really played 100% of the game or even 95%. So that's the one thing that you have with him. With Varun, it's the same thing. I think his knees are dodgy. I think Varun's problem is a more solvable problem if Varun works on it in the long term. I think Andre is something that they just feel he's just such an incandescent talent that they don't want to mess with him. They just believe that he's too good a talent. And again, look at it again, what we're talking about. 3 all-rounders. So I have 3 all-rounders and a mystery spinner. That's who they've retained. Assuming that you can't call Sunil Narine a mystery spinner anymore, but you say he's a somebody who can probably whack it still in Indian conditions. And 3 all-rounders.
And in Indian conditions, bowler as well. In Indian conditions, he's more likely to give you overs. With his, he's starting to get better and better with his new action. So if you look at numbers from when he changed his action, he's gone through a dip because he's still coming to terms with the new action. I think this year he gave enough glimpses to suggest that with this new action, he's coming close. He'll never be the Sunil Narine that he was, because that Sunil Narine comes, like rain in December. It comes once in a while. But thereafter, look at it. He's still giving you an economy of 7.4, bowling some tough overs. But I think that economy could actually get better, because with the new action, it's like, when we made pickles at home, the first month or so, they didn't taste very well. But after a while, in Marathi, we said Murna, they sort of matured. I think he's now reaching that stage with the new action where he'll become better.
I love the analogy. They're going shopping for a captain as well, right? A lot of questions asked. Hey, you haven't retained your captain.
Sure they are. I think they're just going to buy back the same captain.
They're going to buy back the same captain. No, and I don't think they'd be too worried, because Kolkata's done this once before when they cleared the decks, 2011. First player coming up, Gautam Gambhir, by him, most successful captain for Kolkata. So, they won't sweat it too much, right, Joy? Can buy the same captain back in case he's not there. Somebody else scoops him up. 5 teams need a captain. There are a few going around.
Yeah, and I really don't think at this point in time, given his record in the IPL, I mean, he has a fantastic record otherwise. I can't see teams really bidding for somebody like Owen Morgan. So I don't think he'll go for a very high price.
I think you'll get some messing around bids. Like, some guys just putting the paddle up to drive the price up on Kolkata. You're going to get a few of those for sure with Ewan Morgan.
But it's a dangerous game to play, because you can get stranded. And I've seen that happen as well.
Yes. Classic. Steve Smith, what Mike Hesson did. We saw that video as well, right? Our old pal Ajit put the video up, right? Of how they were wanting to be a spanner in the works, that nobody would let them take Steve Smith for base price, and Delhi bit. And they got
look, the only team that could keep raising the paddle is Punjab.
Yeah, because as usual, they come with the biggest suitcases to the auction.
Yeah, so but if Punjab have decided that Mayank Agarwal is their captain, suppose there's been an agreement that Mayank Agarwal is the captain, they don't need to keep raising the paddle for Morgan. And I noticed a couple of days back, Morgan had 35 or 15 balls in T10, so he's got it.
Yeah, of course he has. They just only had 2 retentions, Mayank and Arshdeep. Now, I don't know. Here's the thing. With Punjab, you don't know whether they have not
retained the player. You just don't know.
You just don't know. That's right.
No, look,
you don't know if they wanted to retain the player or the player just wanted to leave, because we know that it's always been kind of a little dodgy over there, right? For them to keep people. Attrition rates have been high in Punjab, safe to say.
Yeah, look, whatever little I know about this that's come to attention is that they definitely wanted to keep 2 people, and that's Bishnoi and Shah Rukh Khan. Okay, those were the 2 people that they were very, very eager to keep. But the problem is that they are uncapped players.
Yeah.
So they don't want to go at 4 crores. I think Shah Rukh Khan looked around, saw himself in the auction and saw, I could probably go for double that. And I think if you look at it, I mean, definitely Bishnoi is the same again. Again, these are talented match-winning players who would go for serious sums of money, even given that instead of 8 teams, you now have 10 teams. So they would definitely. So I think, when we talk about this retention, I think it's really a much more two-way relationship than just retention. It's not as if I'm just retaining you. It's about, dude, I don't want to stay here. I'm going to go and take my chances out there.
KL Rahul, Lucknow captain. Harsha?
With KL Rahul, there have been some secrets going into the category of the worst kept of all time. It was. I mean, if you ask someone who told you, I don't know who told me. Is KL Rahul not staying on with Kings 11? No, he was never going to stay on for a long time that we know now. Yeah. Who told you? I don't know, but everyone knows. It's that kind of story, Did Gaurav tell me? Did Joy tell me? Did Rahul tell me himself? I don't know. But I know everyone knows he's not staying at Punjab.
Yeah.
And I think Punjab need to ask themselves this question. Why is it that year upon year, good players don't want to stay on?
Yeah.
Surely KL Rahul is captain. He has captaincy ambitions. He's captain. He wants to stay on. He's asking for a little more than 16. Okay, you tell yourself, is he worth it? Is he the best white ball opening batsman in India? Arguably, you could make a strong case for that. He's captain. Has he scored 600 runs year upon year? Yes, he scored 600 runs year upon year. Most times 450 good, 500 excellent. He's giving you 600 runs.
Yeah.
Apparently, he wants a little bit more. You negotiated. Last time Virat Kohli was on 17 with RCB. You can pay him a little bit more. I think, like with Rashid, he didn't want to stay. And I think this is something that Punjab have to ask themselves. But you know how friendship works, right? Because KL Rahul has gone, who's got the windfall?
His
best
bro.
friend. His best friend.
His bro.
You know how that works?
Mayank
That's a
Agarwal
Hindi
is
film waiting for you.
Yeah, they've separated Jay and Viru, but Viru's got Basanti and Dhanno and the Tanga now. So that's what he's got. He's going to be riding into the sunset with that. Mayank is captain, right? We all three agree on that, unanimous. They should really.
I don't know.
They should handle
Have they
the
said
captaincy.
it?
No, but
Have they said
we that's what we believe would be the correct path.
I think the one thing this time Punjab should do is say things up front. Say it up front. Say you're the captain. Give him some confidence to the team that he's retained with. Give him something to play with. Because, going into auctions, not having a captain, saying, okay, we'll decide afterwards. It's a lack of faith in whoever's going to come in on the people you've chosen to retain. So I believe that if you believe he's a captaincy candidate, give it to him now.
And he's got to work on the auction, right?
Straining
He's
his
got to
neck.
build the
Yes.
team.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely. If they're going to say we play it safe and we're going to build the team first and then choose a captain, then if Mayank is the captain, then he'll feel disenfranchised, right? Like, why was my opinion not taken earlier? You were just looking for the bigger, better deal, and now you're settling with me.
Yeah.
So, that's
I'm not sure Mayank is 14 crores, to be honest. I'm very, very happy for him. He's a lovely young man. I'm very happy for him to get 14 crores. He's gone in the auction. It would have been a good 7-8 crore kind of player. But his has been a strange career. He's been a slapdash, go for every ball T20 player who suddenly broke the door down with 100 upon 100 upon 100 in Ranji Trophy cricket, became an outstanding test match opening batsman, and his T20 form suffered. And now he's struggling in the test match format. And guess what? Last year, he was brilliant in T20 cricket. So I just think they might have landed onto a really good thing with Mayank Agarwal. Maybe he's coming back to the T20 batsman. He was fantastic for them last year. But I agree. If you want Mayank Agarwal to be captain, tell him now he's captain and get his thoughts on building a team. He's a lovely man. He's a very earnest young man. He'll deliver everything for the side. And then keep him.
Something has happened, something of this kind. We've been seeing this with Punjab for a while with attrition rates. It never happened with the Hyderabad team. It was always one of those little happy family kind of setup. But something has transpired over the last 6 months, which you could tell. And we spoke about it at length on Cricbuzz Live when you just saw Warner sitting there. And, even if you were not a fan of Warner and you were not a fan of his style of operating, for example, you could just not help feel that something was amiss, that this was wrong, it was being mishandled. And the fact that Rashid Khan has not wanted to stay, who's again been one of their key players, one of their prime players, and he doesn't stay, you got to feel, look at it. He's not there, Bhuvi's not there, Manish Pandey is not there, Warner's not there, all the players you really thought, and they had the slot. Bairstow's not there. I don't know. Something doesn't smell right.
They pull the building down and they're rebuilding they're rebuilding it. All the pillars are gone. It's not. They're not refurbishing the building. They're just building a new one. If you remember what Brad Haddon said, Brad Haddon was one of the assistant coaches, and he said very clearly, Warner's non-inclusion has nothing to do with his ability as a player. So you're absolutely right. There's something that's happened there that we don't know, because Warner is one of the greatest IPL players ever.
True.
Just the greatest IPL players ever. Over a career, 41 and 140, you know what you do? You hold him with both hands and you send him to a remote island paradise that no one else knows and say, come back after the auction is over, no one knows where you are.
Yeah.
Except that now Ahmedabad and this thing have the address, Lucknow have the address of that island, and they'll be there
Correct.
first. Chop it. no.
Choppers flying in to get him out of there. But yeah, you can tell that something is amiss there. But you've got the two youngsters who they've kept. One who just impressed. Joy, that's an amazing story, right? I mean, a youngster comes in, bowls in 2 games. Suddenly he's gone with India to England and he's being retained. And it's how a few overs of 150 can really change your destiny.
No,
As they
absolutely.
should.
And look, the point is that it's good that they've retained them, because I think at 4 crores those are good prices to get, but that also means that you couldn't keep the ones you did. The interesting one about Rashid Khan is, would Rashid Khan have stayed had they paid him the 16?
Yeah.
Or would it be like Rahul that he'd probably want to leave? So that's the one thing that you think about, saying that if you offered Rashid Khan 16 and said, I'll take Williamson at 12, even though Williamson is captain, would he have stayed? Because these figures are frankly outstanding. He's one of the great bowlers of the IPL. Exactly like Warner. Warner and Rashid Khan are like, they're 2 guys who are probably the best in their position for the past 5 years in IPL cricket at least.
Yeah. No, let's
something
something is happening. Something is happening.
Very clear. Look, how much are you paying Williamson? So very clearly, you could have had both in the side. You could have given Rashid Khan the top draw. I mean, we all know Williamson. Williamson's a very pragmatic person. Williamson knows he's not going to get 16 crores ever in an IPL auction. Never. Is he going to get 10 crores in an IPL auction? No, unless he's captain plus player.
Yeah.
So if he's second pick is 12 crores.
Yep.
You give him 10 crores as a second pick, whatever you're saying, money there. You've got your 2 picks. One is a captain you're building a team around, and one is the best T20 bowler in the world at the moment. And you've got something to play with, but clearly there's been a breakdown over there. Something has happened, as I said. I mean, you've just sold the family Haveli.
Yeah.
But I want to ask one thing here, and that's a very honest question. One is, who is making the decisions now? Because is Lakshman a part of this think tank anymore? Because remember, Lakshman has now gone to the National Cricket Academy.
Yeah.
So is Lakshman a part of this decision anymore? B is that, last time what we felt, and very justifiably felt, was that Tom Moody and Trevor Bayliss are both fantastic cricket minds with enormous experience and great winning records. But do you need them in the same ship? I mean, do you need them sailing the same ship? Which one of them is the captain?
The grapevine? We're not a television program. No, grapevine is that they'll be in the market for a coach.
That's interesting. Well, again, one of those badly kept secrets, right? It just is. There's something going on.
At least that answers this question. This question.
Yeah, well, we at least know that. Well, अब तो वो कहते हैं ना सर, समझदार को इशारा ही काफी है. अब तो दे दिए, काफी इशारे दे दिए. Now let's move on to the last team, which is Rajasthan. How many do we have left? Oh, we have more. We have some more. What do we have? Oh, bang! Oh, sorry, RCB fans. Easy now. Easy. Don't jump me yet. Apologies. There's Rajasthan. They have made 3 retentions. Obviously, they've retained their captain. That's Sanju Samson. 14 crores for him. They've retained Joss Butler as well, because players like that don't come around every single day. And then young Yashasvi Jaiswal, uncapped at 4 crores. They've got a big purse left now. But not retained any of the big players that they went for in the auction. The big money that they paid, they didn't. But talking about these 3 retentions for you, Joy, any surprise or no?
No. It's very clear that Archer and Stokes thought they'd get more money outside. And there's no doubt about it at all. They felt they had to retain Sanju, and the story behind Sanju. Sanju was in a state where definitely he was looking outwards and going outwards and looking at it. So they had to slot him at the top spot. And the moment you do that, you almost automatically, you're telling yourself that Butler and Stokes and Jofra, it's then 3 of them willing for that 1 second position. I don't think any of those 2 other guys would have decided for third. So they must have looked at it and said that, Butler is less injury prone. Let's give him that opportunity. Immediately, the moment that happens, you've lost the other 2. And then I think at 4 crores, I think Yashasvi is a very good buy. Yashasvi would, I feel, if he went to the market in this kind of 10-team position, he'd probably get more than 4. So I think they've done well retaining Yashasvi. And once they decided that they're going to pay Samson 14, they had no option, and retaining Butler, the other 2 wouldn't have stayed.
Yeah,
and they can keep only 1 more. They can't keep 3. And so
correct. Yep. Only 2 foreigners. Yes, Harsha, you were saying?
Yeah, I mean, look, Ben Stokes has not set the IPL on fire. In his first season, he did well, but Ben Stokes not set the IPL on fire. You've got to ask yourself, Josh Butler, Jofra Archer. Josh Butler, Jofra Archer, both. Josh Butler, Jofra Archer, both. And I think they went with Josh Butler as the more guaranteed performer because that elbow of Archer's has been through a second surgery now. And I think they're worried about whether that second, he's missing the Ashes as well. So what could happen is he misses. By February, that elbow starts to be fine. Hopefully the surgeons got it right this time. And he is letting it rip in April. But what if in March they suddenly discover, oh, hang on, Jofra's elbow's playing up again. Now you've got the money in the purse, but who do you spend it on? So I think they've gone with a bird in hand, which is Josh Butler, one of the finest T20 players in the world today. So effectively, they've given themselves 1, 2, 3 and said, okay, I don't know who's playing 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Oh, so a bit like Punjab strategy then.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. But what they've done is they've said Sanju Samson is our captain. They can sit and work with him and say, okay, who are the players that we want? Sangakkara is going to be around for a while. So Sangakkara, Samson, all of you sit together and say, what are the kind of players we want? Look, they must have done their homework. Rajasthan Royals is effectively an English franchise.
Yeah. True.
And they've left out 2 England players. So they've obviously done their homework there. They're smart business people, Rajasthan Royals. So maybe they think that the prognosis on Archer's elbow is not 100%. So let's not take a chance there. And Stokes, we don't know. We don't know about Stokes. So I think they've gone with certainty.
Yeah, and Manoj Badale, of course, as you say, the UK-based owner, so, knows things, as you say, run this franchise with, they do the odd, overpay, you feel for someone, just go nuts and you go, all right, you're not even playing that person now, so what's going on? You're paying but not playing. But otherwise, it's been quite sound what they do, so I guess you can't question that.
And Joy's right about Sanju. It was another of those open secrets that Sanju was hoping to get a team. They've said, okay, we'll give you captain, we'll give you first pick.
Yeah.
That's too good enough to refuse.
Yeah.
Just too good enough to refuse.
Make an offer you can't refuse. Talking about the Godfather. You talk about the Godfather of Bangalore. Eh? You talk about Virat Kohli. Yeah, that's right. The Godfather. He said that he's not going to be captaining, but obviously, he was going to be bright as day, right as rain. Virat Kohli is your number 1 pick, of course. And then Glenn Maxwell finally finds a home that loves him and loves him enough to retain him. And then there's Mohammad Siraj, who comes in at 7 crores. Very, very interesting. A few names missing there, Joy. Few big names missing.
I think Chahal would look at himself and say, I can go better than 7 crores in the market. I'm sure he's looked at himself, looked at all the teams around and says, for the kind of track record I have as a bowler, there's no way I'm going to go for that kind of price. And I think that's the one thing you look at. Overall, whatever you say, 139 wickets. Chahal has been one of the stars for RCB for a very, very long
I think
time.
it's the most wickets, right? For Bangalore. It's the most wickets.
Definitely
the highest wicket taker. Yeah, he's the highest wicket taker.
Easily.
I think he's going to be one of the 6 picks in the 2 teams.
Could well be. Also, maybe he's just closed his eyes and said, Chinnaswamy se dur le ja mujhe. Itne saal main Chinnaswamy mein bowling dalunga main. But no, in all fairness, Chahal's career was going through a dip. I think he's recovered really well in the second half of the IPL. I think not being picked for the T20 World Cup was a kick up the backside for him. And I think he's come out like all good players do. He's come out stronger as a result of that. There's little doubt India missed him at the T20 World Cup. There's no doubt at all India missed him there. But India went with their choices. So I'll be surprised if he doesn't touch 7. So I think he wanted more. But the moment they had Kohli and Maxwell, they probably couldn't afford Chahal's ambition.
I feel like they could, though, in the auction. Joy?
Could be. They also need a captain.
But A, that B is that how are you going to wait? I would definitely look at him as among those 6 players who those 2 franchises net first. Because, you look at that list and you can ask yourself, David Warner, Rashid Khan, KL Rahul, the other batsmen who are missing, the Indian, Shreyas Iyer. Okay, these 4 definitely. Yeah. Then
Really?
you're talking about definitely Chahal.
Yeah,
Chahal, Pandya, that kind of list. Then you have people like Washington Sundar and outside that. That's a pretty. Then if Ben Stokes is healthy, somewhere there you put in a Ben Stokes.
Warner.
No, I already Warner, Rashid, Iyer, this one, Iyer and Rahul. These four must be the top four probably.
So then if Chell is the third pick, he'll go back in the auction then. Because Chell doesn't want to be third pick again.
Yeah, but here's the
possible.
thing. Who's captaining Bangalore? For me, I think the front runner is... Because here's the thing. Virat's not going to be captain, but he is the alpha male in the room, right? So you can't have another alpha male in there, right? You can't have a super strong opinionated guy because that could create problem. Shreyas is your ideal captain. He seems to be a chill dude. Virat's a senior. Don't mind playing to Virat like how Virat played to Dhoni, right? Where Dhoni was not captain. You need that kind of a role there as well, right? Where there is a certain respect. You need that kind of captain. My pick is Shreyas to captain Bangalore.
Shreyas, I cannot see Shreyas going beyond those two teams waiting for him.
Yeah,
I just
he might choose not to go to either of those two teams. He might choose to be in the auction.
Yeah,
he might choose not to get picked by either of those two. He might choose to go in the auction because I can see more than one team chasing him. So
yeah,
I can see three teams chasing him, but it'll be very interesting. See, here's my problem. Whenever you do things that are completely within the auction system, you have one team bidding against another. The problem with this current IPL system is you really don't know what a team can offer. Because you can offer something on the table, you can offer something off the table, you can offer something under the table, under the ground. All sorts of things can happen. So that's the one thing you've got to be careful about.
Under the ground. I will give you 15 crores and a basement.
That's the kind of deal that's done in Delhi here.
I tell you something. If somebody offered you 15 lakhs and a bunker, it's raining on the 1st of December. Take that deal, right? Take the bunker. You need a bunker now. All right. That's the 8 teams. Let's go with we've got a bit of a rapid fire here. It's hardly a rapid fire, but just shock omission, perhaps. Not shock omission. Somebody you expected would be retained but was not retained.
I knew he wasn't. Yeah, I knew he wasn't going to be retained. But to me, the shock exit is David Warner.
Yeah,
we all knew he's not going to be retained, but that is a shock exit. I mean, we are talking of one of the greats. You're talking of someone on par with Chris Gayle, and Chris Gayle is now 42 years old. So, and David Warner has just come back into form. He's batted like the Warner of old for Australia. He's batted like the punch, like the boxer that he is. So to me, yeah, Archer or Warner, those two for me.
For you, Joy?
I'd say Chahal and Rabada. I think Chahal chose not to stay. Rabada definitely over Nokia. Not for anything else, but I just feel Rabada is so much more complete as a bowler. And judging him over one season and saying Nokia is better on the basis of matches just played in the Gulf, I don't think it doesn't work for me.
Which is the track he wants to bowl on, Rabada? Start to think which is the track he wants to bowl on. There's somebody waiting. Yeah.
Guys, who do you think will be the ka-ching, top dollar, top dog at the auction? Who's going to break the bank?
We'll know, actually, to be honest, we'll know as soon as we know who the other 3 retentions are. Rashid Khan will definitely break the bank. But among those, Ishan Kishan could go for good money. Shreyas Iyer could go for good money. Hardik Pandya, if he's not bowling, maybe not as much. Jofra Archer will go for big money.
Yeah.
I feel if by some miracle he survives those two teams, KL Rahul and Shreyas Iyer are going to go for serious money. Both young players.
Actually, it's interesting, You look at Shreyas Iyer. You're saying as captain, yes, top order Indian player, but Shreyas Iyer's best format is actually 50 overs cricket. Shreyas Iyer's strike rate is 123, so he's got to go and play a different kind of game, but he's got the ability. He's just an excellent player.
Best value for money retention. I'd say Sunil Narayan at 6, perhaps.
I'm going Ruturaj Gaikwad at 6.
Nice. Okay.
And I'm with you. Totally with you. I feel Ruturaj.
You means what? You is singular and plural. Second person singular, second person plural.
I'm saying Harsha because Ruturaj Gaikwad will have gone for 10% the auction. Easy 10%.
Good.
Wait, Gaurav, you aren't telling us what you think.
I said Sunil Narayan at 6. I feel Sunil Narayan at 6 for Kolkata, I think, is a good retention.
I think Sky at 8. I think Sky is a very good retention.
Oh, sorry. You got Sky at 8. I'm changing mine. I think we all agree. We've got a unanimous opinion suddenly. It's Surya Kumar Yadav at 8. Yeah, that's it. Sky would have definitely gone for more than 8. Yeah. Sky would have gone for more than 8. If
There's one thing about great teams, though. You assign a value to a player, but there are players who want to play at CSK. There are players who want to play at MI. And there is a value to that as well. Do I want 8 at MI or do I want 9.5 somewhere else? Yeah, I know that. I know crore and a half over 3 years, maybe. No, I'll stay with MI because I'll get a trophy. I might win a trophy. I'll stay with CSK. I might win a trophy. I might be an IPL winner. So there's a value attached to that as well.
And perhaps a bonus.
But Harsha, it goes both ways.
Could be, yeah. I mean, CSK, India Cements give you really good bonus if you win. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But it goes both ways. There's a value attached to some teams where people will stay under their value. And there's a value attached to some teams where even when they're being overpaid, they're not staying.
That's amazing. Joy was looking straight into camera. Suddenly he's giving us the documentary frame, right?
Yeah.
He's giving us So, when I was growing up, just suddenly giving us...
No, but you did, Joy. You did. Even I was looking, you suddenly gave all those.
I did that?
Yeah. It was good. I liked it. It was a good look. I'm also going to talk
Just
like
do
that.
it again. Just do it again for your next line.
Let's all three do it. So I feel like retaining Surya it's good. Joy, we have to learn because Harsha's done the most of those. You see him Cricket Australia, ECB, anyone who's making a documentary. Got the voice.
हम 8 करोड़ के नहीं हैं जानी.
अरे बिल्कुल है. आप तो अनमोल हैं, अनमोल. आप अनमोल हीरे हैं. Also interesting, you were talking about Sunil Narayan at 6. How things change, 6 weeks ago, Venkatesh Iyer, 6 weeks ago, you probably wouldn't have retained him. 3 weeks ago, if you wanted to retain him, you would have paid 4 because he was uncapped. Then he gets capped, and now suddenly he's at 8. Happy for him. You're very happy when an individual wins against capitalism. The man, cheer for the man. Stop it. Stop it.
And we haven't even talked about grandson. We haven't even talked about Purple Harshal. Purple Patel.
That was Purple Patel. Yeah,
Purple Patel. Can you imagine
do you feel Bangalore will pick him up?
Can you imagine Purple Patel playing on that track in Chennai? The moment it's a flat take, all coming on, no. But the moment the ball is gripping, holding, among the best. So who wants him? I can see Rajasthan wanting him. I can see Chennai wanting him. Ball gripping, holding, plus he bats.
Yeah, I think Harshal will go for a lot of money.
Purple Patel. He's Bangalore's third highest wicket taker of all time. Right? He's the third highest.
But there were no matches played in
over 2 different stints in the organization. Yeah,
but the matches are not played in Bangalore.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think that's it. That does it with 6:59. The first time we finished
2 people. I'm very happy for 2 people
because we shouldn't finish on time because that's the 3 of us never finish on the dot. So let's not break tradition today. Come on, carry on, sir. Please give us.
I'm very happy for Mayank Agarwal.
Yeah,
but I'm very happy for Yashasvi Jaiswal. Can you imagine Yashasvi Jaiswal's family 4 crore rupees is coming here?
Wow, beautiful.
This is what the IPL does. This is something we don't give IPL enough credit for. Lifting families like that. Just lifting families. Suddenly, Yashasvi Jaiswal family is getting 4 crores. They don't know what 4 crores means.
Every year for the next 3 years. Every year for the next 3 years. Gotta love it.
I mean, true.
Joy, great. Those are the stories, right? Those are the stories. That's why you love it. Yeah, there's always all this loose talk about, oh my God, so much money and what is vulgar and everything. But no, look at the actual real lives it's changing.
That's exactly the funny thing. When the IPL...
Sorry, Joy. Angle.
Angles.
Okay, when the IPL started in year 1, remember, they were trying to get Vaughan to play, Gilchrist to play, guys who just retired. And they thought this would be a great format for old players to play for a couple of years more and give it what it is and show their class, like an all-star kind of thing. Instead, what the IPL has really become is a hotbed for young players to come through. And I think over these 13 years, I think that's the most magnificent change in the IPL. It's all about young players making their destiny. And what amazing stories we have.
Yeah. Love it. Well, lots more stories to discuss. Of course, there'll be the big auction, which looks like the number of players and the number of teams. This auction is probably going to be a mini festival, and I guess go on for a few days. That'll happen. And then, of course, the 10-team tournament, that'll happen in April. So lots more matches there as well. This is a tournament. It's a gift that keeps on giving. It's just super interesting. It really does. Big thank you to my brothers, Mr. Harsha Bhogle, Mr. Joy Bhattacharya. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you for
Mr.
being
Gaurav.
here.
Like
much.
they say in Delhi, Mr. Gaurav.
Thank you.
Mr. Gaurav. Actually, I'd
No,
like
no, or Gaurav this side. Myself, Gaurav, or Gaurav this side?
Myself, Gaurav this side. Myself, Gaurav Kapur speaking this side. Or Inspector Gaurav. Like Amitabh Bachchan was in every film. Inspector Vijay. Inspector Vijay. Promotion ही हुई बेचारे की कभी. Always Inspector only. DIG बना दो. कुछ कभी promotion ही नहीं हुई. हमारी भी नहीं होती. हम यही रहेंगे. Whenever you come back, we'll be right here on Cricbuzz Live. Thank you very much for joining us here, all you Zoomers. Thank you so much. I'm Gaurav Kapur saying we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.